Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our weekly MLB betting show we do with Doug Upstone every Thursday. Right now we're taking a look at the National League, and right now we're going to cover the NL West. Today is May 29th. Doug, thanks for being back with us.
Hi, Peter. Yeah, the National League West has seen just a little bit of a switch, and a number of different teams are playing somewhat better than what they were before. So yeah, it's supposed to be the Wild Wild West and starting to look like it.
Well, one team that's playing a little bit better than they were before, which is quite impressive because they were playing extremely well before, is San Francisco. In our last call, we forecasted that they would continue to be profitable, and they were actually wildly exceeded our expectations. They went 13-6 since that video, plus 28.2% ROI. They are currently the top team in all of baseball in the money standings. They are plus 22.5% ROI on the year. That's just a phenomenal return. We also forecasted Colorado to continue to be profitable, and that didn't happen. They went 6-11, minus 27% ROI. But like we mentioned in the video, I said that it's at home where they really dominated. And actually, since that last video, they were profitable at home. They just only had 5 home games. They went 3-2, plus 7% ROI at home, but they went 3-9, minus 46% ROI on the road. We also forecast Colorado overs to continue. That didn't happen. 5-10 over under. And we forecasted San Diego unders to continue, and that didn't happen. 10-9 over under. But San Diego is still a strong under trender on the year. 19-32 over under. All right, so let's first start with the low-hanging fruit. San Francisco, do we forecast them to be profitable again the next 3 weeks?
Boy, I don't see how you can. This is the best team in the National League overall, and their home record is fantastic at 19-9. Now they're going to go on a 7-game road trip to St. Louis and San Francisco. St. Louis and I think it's Cincinnati, but then they'll be back home for a 3-team homestand. So I look for them to at least hold their own on the road, and then with the when they get back home, just keep chugging away and picking up money for the bettors that are supporting them.
All right, and then Colorado. Colorado is still the number 9 team in all of baseball in terms of profitability, plus 4.5% ROI on the year, and they continue to be an absolutely awesome bet at home. And starting on June 3rd, they have a 10-game homestand. So do we think that they're going to be profitable at least in that homestand?
Yeah, you would sure think so, and the discrepancy with this team is just in terms, it's not their pitching that's the problem, it's the offense that's the problem. They're averaging 7 runs a game at home and 3.6 on the road. I can't honestly, Peter, remember such a discrepancy this far into the season for any team to have something like that. So yes, so I would say pound Colorado at home, even though you're probably going to have to pay a little extra juice, but on the road, well, you can really make some money.
Well, 3 of those home games are against the Dodgers, though. You think that the Dodgers will come in and just explode offensively, or do you think that Colorado still will probably be a good bet in that series?
I would still take Colorado as a good bet. Speaking of the Dodgers, they're generally speaking, you're seeing improvement with what they're doing. Some of the injuries are forcing certain players to play, and others to, in this case, with them, like Matt Kemp, to complain about everything. But there's just so much talent on this team. At some point, it just has to kick in, and it's, like I say, steadily been getting better. But boy, there's no indicator that all of a sudden they're going to win 9 out of 10, 15 out of 20, something like that. It's just not there.
All right, yeah, let's talk about the Dodgers, because since our last video, they actually went 10-9, which is a reasonable record. But they're so overvalued in those games that they actually had a bad return. They were minus 11% ROI in those games, despite being 10-9, and they do just seem like they're the kind of team where if they go 10-9 or 12-10 or something like that, that's not going to wind up making you money.
No, absolutely not, because they're still the favorites to win the National League at every sports book that I've checked. So they're definitely going to be overvalued. Again, not a good play.
Yeah, I mean, these next 3 weeks are going to be interesting. They have 13 home games and 7 road games. 3 of those road games are at Colorado. We know what a huge home edge Colorado has. And then 10 of the home games, though, are against Pittsburgh, the White Sox, and Arizona. And just on paper, they look like they have an enormous advantage over all of those teams, but that they're going to be a huge favorite as well in those games. I could easily see them, sweeping those games or winning 9 out of 10. I could also see them, winning 6 out of 10, but winding up, being a bad bet because they're minus 180 every game.
Exactly, because when you're throwing out, Kershaw, you got Zach Greinke and Dan Herron, 1, 2, 3 in a row. Those are all pretty much 175 to 225 favorites this time of year. And anytime one of them loses, boy, that just crushes backers for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and then we got San Diego, who we forecasted unders to continue. That didn't pan out, but they are still 19-32 over/under on the year overall. And then we have Arizona, who's been a bad bet. So in the NL West, the forecasts are looking a little bit tricky to me. Maybe we could just stick with just one forecast bet on San Francisco and leave it at that, or do you have others?
No, I would think San Francisco is definitely good, and I think you still have to look at Colorado at least as a possibility of a play every time that they're at home. Mm-hmm. So I think that's good. And Arizona, I think you still at least look at to play against them pretty much all the time. They're a little bit better on the road, but this is still not a good team being outscored by they have the worst run differential in baseball by over 20. That's not a good sign, Peter.
So what are our official forecasts? Bet on San Francisco, that's one. And bet against Arizona, is that going to be a second one?
I would bet against Arizona and look to play Colorado at home.
All right, so we got 3 official forecasts for the next 3 weeks?
You got it.
All right, thanks so much, Doug. Talk to you next week.